This is Joker number one. This is actually so. When this was announced, I was like, "Oh, dude, how can you tell a story with the Joker?" This is by James Tynion the fourth, so naturally he's gonna be a good writer on this, especially since he works on a lot of horror stories and comics. So naturally, he should be the best person to do this job. So I was thinking like, man, how can you tell an ongoing with him? Like, I can imagine a limited series about it, but an ongoing where it's going to correlate with Batman's books, and now this is basically Jonathan Hickman style, where James Tyrion the fourth goes ahead and works on multiple books at once. He's been a busy camper for the past year. He's worked in books of death metal event tie-ins. He's worked with the Batman books. He's worked with some of the Justice League stuff. He's worked. Let's see. He's been working on this. He's been working on Department of Truth. Man, he's been working on something he's killing the children. So yeah, he's a pretty busy guy, and I am understanding why I cannot land an interview with the guy for God's sakes. So yeah, so this is taking place after the events of Infinite Frontier number zero, where Joker gassed Arkham Asylum to death, and naturally you would think this is where Bane ties into all this, since he's on the cover of the original printing. But it turns out that Bane is dead in Infinite Frontier number zero, so naturally that's going to be interesting. But the first issue, he doesn't actually appear much in this. Like, oh, we see hallucinations of the Joker, but we're actually seeing more of Jim Gordon's perspective of this. So this is more like a horror detective thriller, which is awesome, and how Jim Gordon sees everything. So we cut to this prologue called The Boogeyman. I spend a lot of time these days thinking about my last night in Chicago, the end of another life. I remember telling Barbara it was less of a goodbye party and more of a good riddance party. I wasn't leaving the city with the best reputation on the force. I've gotten 5 boys in the blue demoted for taking bribes. Got a promotion and a transfer to hell as my reward. Let Gotham do it, Jim, they said. Maybe those boys will set him straight. Oh, you cops are so stupid, aren't you? Those who dared to show cleared out early, but I lingered. I wasn't ready to go. The train was leaving in the morning. I knew I didn't have time. I knew I had to say my goodbyes to my wife and my daughter, but I was glued to my bar stool, ordering 3 drinks past knowing better. That's when I heard a voice behind me. Jim, tell me this. You old enough to get your boogeyman? This is taking place in the past when Jim Gordon still had his orange hair, so during the 52 era probably. So, yeah. He goes ahead and continues narrating. His name is Danny Ryan. He wheezed as he spoke, gasping out each word. I could smell mustard on his breath. His dad had been one of the golden boys of the Chicago PD in the days of Al Capone, but I haven't seen Danny do much but nap at his desk. Boogeyman? Yeah, the perp you see when you close your eyes at night. The one who was worse than all the others. I've seen some rough things, Danny, here and in the war. I figured you're too young still. Well, there's a horror to war. I'm never going to understand. I'm not going to insult you by pretending. But at least in war, there's a lot of knowledge that people have been going into battle as long as there's been people. There's a sixth sense to it all. But it's different out in the home front, on the streets, when you see barbarism where it's not meant to be. I think I'm going to call it, Danny. Let me pick up your tab. No, damn it, Jim. Listen to an old fart for a second. You might learn something. Do you believe in evil? Yeah, sure. You're so young, I can't stand it. This is all hypothetical to you. You still think this is a game, that it matters that you brought down a few guys on the take. You're just a kid playing cops and robbers. I'm leaving, Dan, and I was just a few years older than you when I saw the devil. Well, he continues to ignore his constant saying, I'm leaving. He was eating that face off of a 17-year-old girl. When he saw me, he smiled and had out a strip asking if I wanted a bite. I tried to follow the book, trained my gun on him, told him to drop the knife. He just started laughing. He threw it into my leg, and I got out onto the fire escape. Never caught him. Never got another lead. But every night when I close my eyes, I see him sitting there, holding out that piece for me to eat. Cannibalism! But Jim is naturally horrified to hear this tale. Why the hell are you telling me this? There's the law. There's respecting the system as it's supposed to work, serving and protecting ordinary people, keeping the peace. I know that's important to you, Jim, and I admire that. My daddy would have admired that too. But there's the law and there's evil, Jim. And when you see evil, you aim for the head. Jim is naturally spooked when he says, "Good night, Dan." So, yeah, Jim leaves not understanding the conversation, but it does leave with him for a long, 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 long time in real time. I figured he was like any other old cop, telling me to turn a blind eye to the corruption I saw in my fellow officers, but we were the last line of defense for the common man. I heard that one a lot over the years. Every time I try to put a dirty cop behind bars or try to throw a bad man off the force, it took me a few years to understand that he wasn't talking about all that. He was giving me a warning. And now I see the devil each night when I close my eyes. And sure enough, he's talking about the Joker. Jim Gordon can't sleep, and yeah, he can't even sleep as he gets older now more than ever. Especially considering what the Joker did to him and his family. I mean, like, I can't imagine what would happen to if he found out what Batman did. You know, enablement, like, say, and I'm just throwing this out there, but what if Jim Gordon found out that Batman had withheld evidence that he knew who the Joker was? Ain't that right, Three Jokers? You know who the Joker is. You withheld the evidence. I'm pretty sure that's a count for accessory to murder. But to learn that you withheld it for years, and then if you found out you tried to save the Joker in Joker War, oh, that would have been worse. I'm pretty sure he would have killed you by now. I'm pretty sure he would have been pissed off and trying to pull a gun at you and see nothing but evil out of you. So, anyways, we cut to chapter 1. Call it a day. They're already calling it A Day on the streets. Gives the attack weight, and a bit of Gotham's trademark gallows humor. Or, what do you call the deaths of nearly 500 patients, healthcare professionals, and security guards in the deadliest gas attack in the history of the United States? I believe we call that terrorism. Amongst other things. Mass murder, amongst others. Well, in Gotham City, you just call it a day. A day. The death of Arkham Asylum. Reports say the gas bombs went off at midnight, and most of the deaths happened in the first 5 minutes before any alarms went off. It was an altered version of the classic Joker toxin formula. Victims smiled, but they didn't laugh, so no one could hear it spreading from room to room. Only one guard survived by trying to burn the toxin out of the air, saving a group of nurses at a great cost to himself. Sean Mahoney, a man I denied a place on the police force 6 times while I was commissioner. I wonder if I judged him wrong all this time. So Sean is clearly still alive, but now you realize, oh, he's gonna lose faith because he's part of the Magistry in the Future State stories of Dark Detective and Batman, and the second Batman. So, yeah, it looks like he's going to turn and become something else. They say Batman beat the police officers to the scene and helped disperse the toxin from the air. Oh, he doesn't also claim responsibility for the fact that he let this happen with his enabling. But Mayor Narco directed his men to arrest Batman in lieu of there being anyone else to arrest. Unsuccessfully, mind you. The exact death toll is unknown. Mahoney's actions caused part of the asylum to burn, destroying all security footage of the attack. It's believed somewhere between 550 and 100 patients escaped the building before Batman arrived on the scene. The presumed dead is Jeremiah Arkham, Jonathan Crane, and hundreds of other less colorful patients. Jeremiah? Oh man, I'm certainly hoping that's not a reference to anything. Right. The most shocking news is the death of Bane. Overnight, makeshift flags go up in little Santa Prisca and other Caribbean transplant communities in Gotham. Vigils are held and murals are painted. I think of the destruction he's caused in the city, but also understood him as a symbol of strength. Of all the presumed dead, I believe his death the least. I asked the city coroner to let me examine his body, and I'm denied the opportunity. So, yeah, although Bane is a mass murdering, psychopathic brute, he also has intelligence to him since he, broke the bat. Kind of like that took months of planning. thing and having to wear Batman down every chance he got. But yeah, I could totally understand why this guy is seen as a symbol of strength to the people of Santa Prisca and other Caribbean transplant communities, because he was one to them. He was one of them. It's like even villains get their names recognized at some honor of the dead, despite all the horrible things they did, like breaking Alfred's neck and us having to figure out when the hell this actually happened. I got a call from the mayor's office 3 days after the attack. After Harvey's resignation, the commissioner's seat has been filled with mid-level bureaucrats with Monaco decides on a new direction of the GCPD. They tell me he's been acting as a de facto commissioner for City Hall, and it seems he's to be working about as well as you expect. Nanako tells me there's footage of Joker leaving the Arkham Asylum during his attack on the city last fall. The going theory is that Joker planted the gas bomb before he left Gotham City, sending them to go off months later. I nod politely, like the information is new, like I had him again in that private account 2 days prior. Ah, Batman, he has all the stuff. Nanako asked me to take a role as the city's Joker czars, coordinating him and the acting commissioner. I decline and recommend that he rethink his position on Batman. That shuts him up. I don't think I'll be getting that call back anytime soon. Which suits me fine. I tell myself it's because I'm ready for a life in retirement. I find a message from Harvey Bullock. He makes a pitch about going into the private practice with him, but the idea of spending the rest of my days taking photographs of cheating spouses makes me ill. I'm remembering Sarah, my own infidelities. Good people can be weak, and I don't want to profit off that. So he goes ahead and splashes water in his face, and he's while continuing to narrate. I want to do something good with my life. Barbara tells me to close my eyes and picture the future I want for myself, but when I close my eyes, all I hear is laughter. Yeah, the Joker. On the day of the killing joke. When I open them, it's not much better. I feel it's more like his city every day. I see children wearing T-shirts of his girlfriend Punchline. Yeah, so as much as they keep saying that, so there's been contradictions about exactly who exactly this Punchline is in terms of her relationship with Joker. Some say she's not his girlfriend, just a lieutenant, or she's just a cult follower, or as Harley Quinn would say, a new groupie because Joker's way too old for her. But honestly, at this point, it's kind of confusing with the scaling timeline. People wearing clown masks in front of City Hall, courthouse, and shouting for a release. The young punks of the city are taking and making themselves look like clowns to intimidate their fellow citizens. For the last few weeks, at Barbara's direction, I dyed my hair so as to not show my age. But it feels sillier than ever. I'm not a young man anymore. I don't even feel like a remotely young man. And he goes in and beats the living hell out of one of the punks. I tell Barbara I want to retire somewhere warm, but I don't have the money to retire in my own damn apartment for more than a year or two. And he sees Joker staring at him, laughing at him behind a local coffee shop. Yeah, PTSD can be a bitch. I can feel him laughing at me. After the last round of madness this life had dragged me into, I said I was done, that I wouldn't rejoin the force, that I would take care of myself. I remember when I heard the news of the new Joker attack, but I told myself, all of it was in everyone else's hands now. I let myself go back to sleep. What he did to Barbara nearly broke me. She lived and learned to thrive. It's knowing that he played a hand in tipping my son over the line one last time. James had a hard path. He struggled with deep and powerful evil inside of him. His struggles that he could stay a part of my life and his sister's. But in the end, Joker knew he could use him as a weapon against my family, and so he did. I lost him. I lost my boy. And he once again sees Joker again and on top mocking him at James Gordon's funeral, James Gordon Jr.'s funeral, James Gordon's tombstone, with his face looking like a mangled horror form. When I close my eyes, I can hear the devil laughing at me. So Gordon leaves the cemetery to after he paid his respects as best as he probably could, but only to meet an unexpected source. Mr. Gordon, I'm sorry. Would you please get in the car with me? What? So a big hulking dude goes ahead and is behind Gordon, and the rich lady just says, I don't mean to threaten you, Mr. Gordon, but time is of the essence. I need to talk to you about the Joker. He gets in, saying, "Yeah, that sounds about right." Chapter 2. All that glitters. But this is not gold. This is some place you got. Oh, it's not mine. It belongs to a friend of my family's, and we're friendly with Epi. Forgive me, Mr. Gorin. I'm not going to answer that question. This is all very sensitive, and then I don't want to be exposed more than I had to be. Okay, sure. Can I get something to call you by at least? You can call me Chrysinda. Pretty name. It goes with the decor. I guess it does. What do I call him? You don't need to call him anything. He I keep thinking it might be Bane because they keep bringing up how it's so hard to imagine Bane is dead, even though we saw the wrangled corpse. Unless you know, you know about if they actually mentioned it. I don't know why I don't know why they're pushing this idea that Bane could actually be alive despite us seeing the dead corpse, unless the rich lady took him and dumped him in the Lazarus pit. So anyways, Jim Gordon tries to get out of this by saying, "I'm sorry, Crescenda. I'm just a retired civil servant. Women younger than my daughter don't ask me to talk about killers and our family friends and his mansion. I think we better get up to the point on here." Of course. I'd like to take you to look at these. Where were these taken? In Brazil a few weeks ago. A few weeks after Joker's attack on Gotham. Revealing that Joker has escaped to Beslin, to Bizliz. I'm pretty. I keep thinking it's Brazil for some reason, but it's clearly different. So Gordon looks over the photos of Joker getting off a private jet and then killing all the passengers and also the people who helped him. The private jet was found with its pilot shot and killed. It had been chartered from a private airfield outside of Gotham. Which airfield? Who was it originally chartered by? Not a commercial private airfield. It was owned by one of my family friends, you see, Mr. Gordon. That flight was never meant to be on radar of the government. You don't register your flights for air traffic control? Oh, no, we don't. Why are you bringing this information to me? I could tell you the police don't have these pictures. I stopped myself before saying, and neither does Batman. The people I represent think that the Joker has reigned terror on Gotham for far too long. And thus, she is now my favorite character in the Bat mythos. Rather than wait for another attack, we would like to see him taken off the board, and we thought you would be the perfect man to hunt him for us. It's what? You have more experience hunting the Joker than nearly anyone. You have been tortured in body and soul by this man. He's nearly killed one of your children and instigated the death of the other. I can't imagine how much you must hate him. I can't imagine a better man to track him down. And he visions Joker in the Killing Joke event. I can. We would prefer to stay outside of the attention of the costume set the best we can. And I don't imagine Batman is available for hire. Fair enough. But you can't expect me to drop everything and go to Brazil. Oh, for God's sake. And you are getting older, Mr. Gordon. We know you don't have security as you enter your golden years. Did you accept, in addition to all our private intelligence? And we will give you a bank card with no spending limit for the duration of your mission. Upon completion, we will deposit $25 million into your personal bank account. That all? That and the satisfaction that you will finally be the one who brings the Joker down. I was kidding. I can't even comprehend the kind of money. You have until the end of the week to decide. There will be a plane waiting for you at the same private airfield that the Joker took off from. The information is in the dossier. It will leave the country this Friday morning at 9 a.m. and take you to Brazil. So you just want me to capture him and bring him back to Gotham for $25 million? No, Mr. Gordon. I'm sorry, you misunderstand. If we just wanted to place a bounty on the Joker, we would have coordinated with the authorities. We want you to kill him. What? I was the police commissioner of Gotham City. I'm not some kind of hitman. And we believe your personal connection to the Joker and your experience to make you the better choice than a hitman. Why would you think I agreed to this? Then she asks a very eerily similar question, and with creepy eyes. Do you believe in evil, Jim? And he's immediately horrified at being reminded of the same question he got all those years prior. Yes, I do. There are people out there who believe wealth is evil, that money corrupts everything it touches. But I think we both know there's real evil in the world. The Joker is evil, and the world would be better off without him. Your family would be intact without him. Do you want to end your career in impoverished in a city that he will attack again and again and again? Or do you want to do one last great thing and reap the benefits for yourself and for your daughter? I I can't. You don't need to answer now. You have until the end of the week, but don't keep us waiting too long. He's out there, Jim, and you know he's planning something. It wasn't the end of a story; it was the beginning of one. Then we cut to Brazil. He, with with former Commissioner Gordon talking. I remember hearing the old Chicago grapevine that Danny Ryan committed suicide a few years after I took the commissioner job. Razor blade, AIDS, AIDS in the bathtub. Grisly scene. They had found the materials from an unsolved case from a facing cannibal in his apartment. We've been following every possible thread for years, to dead end after dead end. I guess at some point his boogeyman was too much. At that point, I had already started to see the face of that clown whenever I closed my eyes. I had started to hear his laughter. I told myself each time I locked him up that it would stop when I knew he was put away for good. But there was never a for good. And each time I got a report from Arkham, another escape, more smiling dead, I could hear Detective Ryan's voice in my ear. When you see evil, you aim for the head. Joker goes ahead and is revealed to have massacred everyone at a local beach house. In a local home, which is more fancier than usual. Oh, some of the people dead off the doorway, off the stairway, in the living room, and one's head seemingly smashed in with a hat covering her face. Each time, God help me, it rang a little truer. And Joker, with a new prosthetic eye covering his now mangled one, since it got shot off by Harley Quinn, and just gleefully proclaims, "Oh, this is all about to get very interesting, isn't it?" And he ends the issue with a laugh. In next 2-week continuing, the unusual suspects. So, anyways, that's the end of the Joker story, but that's not the end of the comic. Well, you'll see, this has Punchline story going on. The viral sensation of the criminal defendant, Alexis Kane, claims no responsibility for the crimes committed or the lives lost during her time as Joker's protege known as Punchline. Due to the public nature of her crimes, her plea of not guilty came as a shock to her counsel and to the city itself. It would be a hard case to win, a little fight for her life. Expert witnesses Leslie Thompson and I, with a specialized team of Gotham's finest prosecutors, are here to make sure she loses. Punchline, chapter 1 by Sam Johns and James Tyron IV. Because we need more reasons to go ahead and have him work on more books. The story follows the events after the Punchline special. Try the Punchline, day 1. Of course, we didn't realize she brought an army. What's the holdup? Where are the witnesses? We're going to need a new plan of attack. I want all the evidence turned inside out. Oh, Cardwell. Oh, can you get anyone on the phone? Oh, he then whispers into somebody's ear. They just pulled witness number 2 out the river, sir. Hell. Dr. Tompkins, your psych evaluation is all we got now. What can you tell us about Punchline? A few hours later, they're dying out there. They have nothing. But the security cameras, they have her fingerprints. They can place her at the scene. They can, and it's all circumstantial. Fingerprints don't mean anything if the people don't believe she pulled the trigger. The DA needs something the public can't deny. And that's going to be hard. Punchline holds all the cards right now. We see more of Gotham's stupid youth continue to advocate why we might as well just blow up the whole city at this point. Ain't? So, even her brother is part of this whole Punchline cult. She has the public on her side. Punchline's too smart to leave evidence she doesn't want found, but it was a while looking through her documentaries at Snyder College, and so I realized she wasn't always that smart, was she? The GCPD is too focused on crimes she committed with the Joker. But when she was a student, there are library computers, public Wi-Fi, lab equipment, rental recipes, loose-lipped professors. She must have messed up somewhere, and she messed up by herself. How long do we have? I could get there before sundown. We can't have anyone spotting my assistant snooping around her old dorm room. They'll throw out what little evidence we do have. Said Bluebird. Then we cut to Blackgate Penitentiary, where Punchline is currently waking up to see a card wedged to her bed. What the hell is this? That's called the Queen of Spades. That's the calling card of the Queen of Spades. When she calls to you, it's time to give up what you got. Info, contraband, commissary snacks. What? Trying to die over a pack of ramen? I'm not joking. She runs the World Flush Gang in and outside. Inside and out. If you cross her, you're going to make a lot more enemies than you can count from in here. Oh yeah? And where does her highness hold court? She's just a few cells down. Well, wait, you're gonna get yourself killed. It's either live free or die mad about it. So she storms off to the Queen of Space's room. Who the f*** do you think you are? I think I'm not easily intimidated by a maniac pixie Arkham wannabe. I think if you weren't so busy trying to ride Joker's coattails, you might see what small role he plays in all this. I think you have a few delinquent friends, but now you're talking to the true aristocrats of crime. My royal bloodline flows through every heist, every hit, and every job this town has seen. Anyone who dares disrespect my authority is digging their own grave. That's why they call me the Queen of Spades. And then she gleefully smiles and says, "You know why they call me the Punchline?" And she proceeds to beat the holy hell out of the Queen of Spades, screaming, "Ha! Get it? Should we do something? I'm just a pawn. I don't even fit in this analogy." And then she continues to beat down to the point it looks like she probably killed her, or gleefully laughing about the whole thing. That night, Colin and what seems to be his boyfriend and a few Punchline supporters are apparently drunk, with her saying, "What's going on? I tried calling your phone like 100 times. I'm out with my friends. It's not a big deal. Look, I just want to let you know that I'm heading out of town for a bit. While I'm gone, I need you to, just because I'm younger than you doesn't mean I'm the baby brother forever. Besides, you've bailed on enough weekends for me to have a routine memorized. Lock the doors, don't throw any parties, eat vegetables, blah blah blah. I got this, Harper." And she grabs her wrist, saying, "I don't want any new friends hanging around the apartment, okay? Cass is always happy to swing by if you're bored, or I can pick my own friends, and I don't need a babysitter." Then he walks away with his buddies and Punchline supporter. Jeez, is everything such a family dramedy around with her? Oh my god, it totally is. So yeah, she narrates to herself as she walks away, heading to her motorcycle. You manipulated the good minds of good citizens, and the bad ones, they're much worse. You convinced them apathy is intelligence, sarcasm is strength, and violence is funny. So you just now woke up to realize how the world operates these days. Well, I'm not laughing. Next, Out of the Past. And thus concludes our event with Joker #1, along with the Punchline subplot. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to end disastrously for Bluebird. But it was a pretty good issue. Like I said, Galen March's artwork is so mixed for me, but it does fit the Joker story because it kind of fits Joker. The artwork looks grossly, disgustingly crazy, yet also has that criminal thriller horror vibe to it. I honestly think it works better with stories like this for Galen March. So, yeah, it's a pretty good issue. James Tynion IV is a pretty damn good writer, having all his hands in multiple pies. So, yeah, he's a busy writer. We'll have to see what goes on next in this next issue and this ongoing. Like I said, I could think this is more like a mini series than an ongoing because, well, this ends in either one of two ways. Either Jim Gordon gets killed by Joker, or Joker gets killed. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to kill, the Joker. They're probably going to kill Jim Gordon first before they ever kill Joker. So, yeah, so Jim Gordon's probably a dead man walking. So, Joker #1, everyone, by James Tynion IV. This was Neo Reality Entertainment presenting Pop Culture Omniversa, Joker #1 of the Infinite Frontier era. For free like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you all next time. Peace and take care, and please enjoy your day out there, everyone.